Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another podcast episode. Today we are talking about Ghost of Yotei. My name is Lily, and I'm here with my wonderful girlfriend, Grace.
Hello, everybody.
And just as a to preface it, I have played Ghost of Yotei from start to finish. I've actually platinumed it, which is the first game I ever platinumed on PlayStation.
Yes, she has. I saw her do it. Yes.
Grace knows about the story, but has not played it fully through.
Yeah, definitely. Again, I watched you play a little bit of it on like PlayStation parties, so this will be kind of similar to our Expedition 33 podcast. I'm an appreciator, not a player.
So, but yeah, with that in mind, there will be full spoilers about Ghost of Yotei, but in all acts and all parts of it, especially the ending. So if you have not finished that game, please come back and listen to this after you finished, because everything's going to get spoiled, and I would hate that for you, because it is such a great ending to a game.
Yes.
You want to experience that on your own time first before you come listen to two girls yap about it.
Exactly. You've been warned. You've been warned.
Get started. And there will be some comparison. There will be probably a lot of comparison between this and Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes.
And not in any bad way, because of course Sucker Punch made both games. But just to kind of compare, I think really how far they've grown in their game making. Because Tsushima came out, I believe, in like 2019.
Yes. I know it was pre-COVID.
Yeah, I think it was 2019 when Tsushima came out. Could be wrong. Could have been like 2020-ish. From coming from a Tsushima, and then really kind of, no, I wouldn't say starting, but really maybe in a way starting kind of a big movement of like Japanese like samurai type games. And of course there were games like that existed before Tsushima, but I think people got really interested after Tsushima came out. That really drew a lot of eyes to that time era and things of that nature.
Highly recognized, just for not only both of the Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei being great games, but I agree with you. It's like, I think it definitely heightened that like genre of game.
And I think it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see where Sucker Punch goes next, because I think now we're kind of winding down that era of samurai and feudal Japan and all that. Because I mean, there have been several games that have come out between Tsushima and Yotei. Rise of the Ronin, I believe, came out sometime in between there, and I played that too. Good game, not my personal favorite. It's a little Souls-like, and I wasn't really a fan of that. Of course, Assassin's Creed Shadows came out, and that was, depending on who you ask, was a good and a bad game, so just depends.
Sure.
But there are, there was a time where feudal Japan was popular, and I think now we're kind of winding down out of it. So I will be interested to see if they continue to Sucker Punch moving forward, if they continue to make games in this kind of era, in this style, or if they maybe kind of pull an Assassin's Creed and say, we're going to go to a different time period and try something different.
True.
I don't know. Time will tell. But to dive in, we're going to talk about kind of mechanics of the game first, and then we will dive it more into like locations and then story towards the end. So straight off the bat, mechanics is combat. I like both games' combat a lot. For you, Grace, of course, since you really haven't seen anything in Tsushima.
Not really, no.
In Ghost of Tsushima, it was more based off of stance. So they think of like kind of like how Avatar: The Last Airbender has like different stances for to represent different elements. Like the water tribes use much more flowing type stances. They're all based off of different like techniques.
Okay.
Versus like Earth stance, which is very firm. Like you're facing your opponent head on, things like that. That is what Tsushima based their gameplay off of.
Okay.
So he had, I think, literally called like water stance, like Earth stance, and I can't remember. There was like 2 or 3 more.
Okay.
But they were called stances. Like, so he literally only had 2 katanas, or maybe one, maybe just one, and a bunch of different ways to stand to fight against these people.
Yep.
In Ghost of Yotei, it was different weapons. Like you're mastering different weapons as you move through the regions. I kind of like the weapons better.
And I know we'll probably get into it because they had some, like, where you get all these different ones.
Yeah.
But, like, between, like, Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yotei, just from my knowledge, too, Ghost of Tsushima, of course, came first.
Yes.
Chronologically, at least, like.
Yes.
Because Yotei is, like, how many years?
Like 300, like centuries.
Okay,
300.
centuries later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Tsushima was first, both, like, in release and then obviously, like, timeline-wise. I will say I like the nod to Tsushima, which we will talk about that more in the story, but even in, like, the lore of it. So there's a group of shinobi, which you can kind of think of them as like ninjas in a way, like very secretive, or like assassins, very secretive, like working from the shadows to kill their targets. Like, they don't just run out and start swinging swords.
Exactly.
But they credit technically Jin for creating that way
of combat.
Yep. Yeah. And I think that's really smart because, again, they change their styles, their stances. They're not changing necessarily weapons. They work from the shadows. They're quiet. They're stealthy. Like, there are a lot of things that you did as Jin in the first game, but, like, now in this game, and now you're kind of having to fight against them, which is kind of a cool thing.
You understand being on both sides.
You're like, damn, I love that stance back in the day, and you're like, fuck, I hate when they use it.
Exactly.
You're like, damn, I hate seeing it getting used against me, though, which I think is kind of funny. But I like how they do kind of pull him in, even though, obviously, he's not around anymore, because he's long dead, but...
You're telling me he can't be a 300-year-old man?
I mean, listen, he was already kind of a ghost anyways, so...
True.
I don't think 300 years are really gonna... I don't think he's that ghostly.
Okay.
But speaking of characters, I know there's a huge... a lot of people when this game came out, there was a huge debate on, like, who did you like more? Did you like Jin Sakai or did you like Atsu? I think they both have their pros, and I think they both have a little bit of their cons. Well, and truthfully to me, I don't think comparing them is fair.
Yeah.
Because their circumstances were so different. Because Jin was a samurai who turned rogue, kind of.
Yeah, doing his own thing,
like, just trying to help his people and survive. Whereas Atsu was never a samurai, never bound by the samurai ways. No. And so she was motivated by revenge.
Yep.
Right from the get-go. And so she is willing to do anything to avenge her family. Even if that means getting her hands dirty.
Yep. And
so I kind of like that story better.
It's like the John Wick arc.
Yes, it's the I'm bound by very few morals. And I'm gonna fuck y'all up.
But revenge is the number one thing driving me.
Yes.
I'm going out of spite.
Yes. Yep. It's not like Jin, who feels like he still has to honor his uncle and his his family, who were it was a clan of samurai, and all of these things. Like, he for a long time in that game is bound by kind of he's very conflicted on the samurai. Like, he still wants to be a samurai, but he's doing things that they don't agree with.
Yes.
And so you're kind of playing on a little bit of both sides until you get to a point where he kind of makes the full switch.
Break free, exactly.
But I really like Atsu's story, truthfully, a little better. I think her development happens a lot faster, and I think I'm not going to say that her backstory is more tragic, because I think they're both horribly tragic.
Yeah.
Because they both, like, have no family. I think the only reason Atsu's maybe a little less, or a little more tragic, is Jin still had his uncle.
Yeah.
For, like most of the game.
Atsu has, like, nobody.
Atsu has literally nobody.
Except for hate in her heart for
the Saito.
Exactly.
For Saito. And for the Yotei 6. I think her story is just a little bit more intriguing on the get-go. I will say this, though, that both opening scenes from the games are beautiful. And both of them really make you want to keep playing. Because Jin, it starts with, like, on a beach. He's with the other samurais. He's with the other, like, clan leaders. And they are trying to fight back the Mongol invasion of the island. And they send out one of the, like, other samurai leaders. And that guy just gets absolutely slain in front of them. And then they say, fuck it. And they charge in. And you're playing out that battle.
That's rough, buddy.
I mean, that is a beautiful scene. And if you haven't seen that or haven't played the game, definitely recommend going to play it. I think Atsu's is just as good, though, because you see her as a kid, and you see the reason why she is like, I'm gonna fuck these guys up. And it's because they came in, and they killed her family.
Terrible.
The thing I like about her story more, though, is as you keep playing, you learn that, like, she has a lot of guilt about it, because she feels like it's her fault.
Yeah.
She feels like she's the one who did this, that she's the one who led them to her home. You find out, like, her brother got shot off the, like, cliffside, that her mother was hung by one of the people.
Yep.
You learn that she was actually, like, freed by one of the Yotei 6 members. And you learn so many more intricacies. It's not just it is just revenge, but it's more than that, too.
Yes.
And I think that is what also really kept me motivated to keep playing, is that it's like, oh, so you feel guilty about this. Oh, you feel like these
she
other
has, like,
ways.
many, like, aside from revenge, like, she has, like, some other skin in the game. Like,
Yes.
again, that shame, that guilt is kind of fueling her, and just in general, like, it's kind of also neat to see her grow. Again, I've only seen, like, parts that you've shown me.
Yeah.
But it is also kind of neat to see her, like, grow up and still have that same, like, that hasn't changed about her. This, like, distaste for the
Yotei 6.
Yotei 6? Okay. Distaste for the Yotei 6 and just, like, this overall, like, anger and, like, revenge arc.
It's interesting to see how she loses herself.
Yes.
Because she gets more and more, like, I don't want to use the word desperate, but that is, like, maybe the thing that best describes it. She gets more and more desperate to, like, try to keep finding these people. And it keeps motivating her, but at the same time, like, she stops caring as much about, like, well, if I die at the end of this, like, I don't care. Like, I'll just be, like, that's what she says at the beginning, but then it becomes more true as you keep playing, is that she's like, I just want to kill the Yotei 6, and then I'm gonna die, and then be reunited with my family.
Exactly.
She has nothing else to live for. Yeah. But then she also starts to learn to live for more.
Exactly. But when you're fueled totally just by revenge, I mean, that's really all you're looking for.
Yeah. Revenge and sayonara, I'm just gonna go.
Yep.
But her character, I think, has a little bit better development overall, in my personal opinion. But moving on, so we're going to talk about a little bit about regions here. And the reason why I'm going to talk about the regions is because Tsushima did a good job with this as well. I think Yotei did a better job mapping out their regions to not only match, like, different seasons, like some are more aligned with, like, fall, spring, summer, and winter.
Oh, cool.
But also, just in general, like, story-wise, this game is a little bit more open than Tsushima. Tsushima is much, I feel like it was more linear. This one kind of drops all the things on you and then says you get to choose where you want to start.
Got it.
And sometimes with a game that is non-linear like this, it can be hard because then when you start putting the puzzle pieces together, you go, shit, well, I shouldn't have done that first.
Yes, like, you're like, oh, dang. Like, because there's clearly, like, an ideal path.
No, there's really not in this game.
Okay.
In this game, truly, the things that they give you can do in whatever order. Because, like, the thing that, like, at the end, like, of course, like, Act 3, you can't just go up to Act 3 and it's not like a Souls game where you can go and beat the hardest boss if you want to.
Right at the beginning.
Like, they lock the big things behind, like, objectives.
Certain levels or...
Yeah, they lock them behind, like, objectives you have to do first. Mm-hmm. But truly, you can do whatever you want until you unlock what you need to unlock.
Okay.
But they drop you, in the beginning, they drop you in the Yotei grasslands, which is kind of, I believe, one of the regions for spring. Again, they're not all... There's 6 regions, so, I mean, there's obviously only 4 seasons.
Yep.
But the Yotei grasslands is where Atsu's home was. It's kind of your, like, tutorial... Think of it like your tutorial learning area. Like, how do you fight people and things like that. And kind of getting your bearings on what do you do at, like, shrines, and how does this work, and how does that work. It's really pretty. It's very open. It's very reminiscent of, like, Tsushima. And I think they did that on purpose to kind of keep people who had played Tsushima first, obviously, to be like, yes, this feels familiar.
Keep them coming back. Keep them interested. Yes. Like, not like, oh, this is a... Because I'm
this
sure
is so different. Like, it's not different.
Yeah, because I'm sure, like you said, like, there was probably a lot of just, like, not backlash, but hesitancy with the game, so...
Yeah, there was. I don't think there was hesitancy. I think there was more just wariness because a lot of people thought that they were going to continue Jin's story.
True, yeah.
And then they didn't, and people were kind of, like, bummed out by that. But I also don't think they needed to continue his story.
And so they start you in this familiar kind of, like, grasslands.
Right. Yeah. So they start you somewhere that looks a lot like Tsushima's landscape to feel reminiscent. Yes. You don't have Jin anymore, but you have something that feels familiar. Yes. The Ishikari Plains, which is the place I went to first, because you have after the opening area, which is the Yotei Grasslands, you have 3 areas you can go to, which is the Ishikari Plain, Teshiro Ridge, and Tonkachi Range. Okay. And one of those is the far up, like, winter area, the snow area, where you would follow the Kitsune storyline. The Ishikari Plains, you follow the Oni storyline. Yep. And then Tonkachi Range, you follow, and, like, you learn more about the Saito brothers, and then, like, Lord Saito himself, which is the guy, ultimately, who you're going to fight at the end of this story.
The big bad
guy. The big bad guy, yeah. And I wanted to go, actually, after the Kitsune first, but then got sidetracked.
That's
and
open world.
Then went after the Oni because that's just kind of where I ended up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be honest, because looking back, I was like, man, would that have been more impactful had I maybe flipped those around? No, because both of those, and this is what they do well. Again, like I said at the beginning, full spoilers here. Both of those storylines have plot twists in them that are very impactful.
Oh, okay. So they stand alone even if you do them in a different order.
Even if you did them in a different order. I mean, sure, I guess you learn about like the other plot twists later, but I don't think that's going to affect your overall experience with the story. I actually think doing Ishikari Plains first is better. Mm-hmm. Because you actually learn about your brother sooner. So again, your brother that you thought died as a kid actually didn't die as a kid, and now he's like one of the lords of like a samurai clan, which is
the Matsume.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he shockingly survived, and so you learn that he's alive, and you're like, oh my god, my brother of 16 years that I thought was dead.
Yeah.
And so that's that plot twist with that one. And with the other one, you learn that the Kitsune was a woman back when they attacked Atsu's home, and she is the one you're working closely with.
Yes.
And you learn that she's the one who let you go as a kid to try to like save you.
And question, and
yes,
about the Kitsune, just like about her story and everything, because I saw more her story towards the end, because again, I'd hop on like PlayStation parties with you just to watch, and she was always a character, at least from where I started watching, she was just there.
Yeah.
So with Kitsune, did she feel guilt?
Yes.
Okay, because I was like, I'm sure she did in some capacity, because she's like your friend in the game, sort of.
Yeah, there are like multiple times where she is like, I am so sorry for like what I did. She feels really, really bad. Mm-hmm. But I also think that's what kind of, when you as Atsu go over there and meet her, because she starts as just like a shamisen player in this inn that you go up to, and you're looking for information about the Kitsune, and she just happens to be there like playing, because that's what she does. That's her. Sure. It's her life now. She's just a musician that wanders around and plays at different places. And she sees you, and then she comes up to you and is like, hey, I know things about the Kitsune that like can help you.
Yes. And
I think she, truthfully, wouldn't have really gotten... I mean, she kind of put herself in the situation to start helping you. Yeah. And I think she did that because, again, she felt bad. Like,
this is like her payback. Or this is her way of repaying for what she's done.
Yes. Now, granted, she already kind of did that in a way, because when she let Atsu go as a kid, like, obviously Lord Saito was not going to let her go without having some serious repercussions for that. Yeah. But again, she also wants revenge for him too, because she hates him now. Mm-hmm. So I think this is kind of killing two birds with one stone. She's, paying back for paying Atsu back for everything that she did wrong. And then also she's hopefully taking down Lord Saito, because that's what Atsu wants. Exactly. So they're, they want the same thing. So it's also kind of beneficial for that as well. Yeah. But yeah, no, she felt bad. And she doesn't say it for a while, because to be fair, it's a long time before Atsu knows who she is. Like, she doesn't tell her for a long time.
And that's a hard thing to approach. Like, hey, so I helped kill your family.
Hey, so I was the one who let you go and also like made you watch your mom like die. Sorry about that.
I don't know how you would even bring that up. So
I can't remember how exactly they do it, but they do it in a really good way. Like, I think she just is like, I think Atsu remembers, because Oyuki, that's her like name now. Yeah. Atsu kind of remembers. She did say something like, Oyuki back in the day when she was the Kitsune did say something to Atsu, and I think there's just finally a moment where it clicks in Atsu's head, like, this voice is really familiar. Yeah. And so then the pieces kind of fall in line, and then she tells her like, hey, yeah. I was the person back then. Sorry about that, But I think both of those twists, again, on their own, are really good. Yes. So that regardless of which way you play the story, it doesn't matter, because you're getting a big story plot twist regardless.
Exactly.
The Tonkatsu range, I think, is meant to play a little later, like after you go to one or the other of those other places. Okay. Because the enemies are harder. Mm-hmm. Like, there's not a lot of story in that area to begin with, because like you learn about the Saito brothers and then you're basically done. Yeah. Because you don't kill them there, you just learn about them.
Oh, okay. Because
you don't kill them till later in the story anyways, so you're just right. Yeah, that's these guys. fuck them.
They're bad people. We don't like them.
But once you do the main stories for all 3 of those regions, then you unlock the Oshima Coast, and that kind of starts the act. It doesn't technically, but when you unlock it, but I call it like the prologue to the Act 3. Because you go down there and you spend a lot of time down there and you do a lot of things. Act 3 is very short. You basically come back home and then you fight Saito and then it's over.
Yep.
But Oshima Coast sets up a lot of Act 3. Because you have to go and rescue your brother. You have to go and rescue
I remember watching
Oyuki.
this.
And you have to go, like, help them and do these things. And so it kind of sets up, like, oh, it's taking them away to set up Act 3.
Yes.
And then that's the end of the story. And then there's one other area that is, like, basically like a wild area. It's a pretty minor. It's a bunch of side stuff.
Okay.
It's really pretty. I think it's a really nice break from, like, having all of this shit in the world. And then you're like...
twists.
You can, like, take a
killing
deep...
you.
Yeah. And you can take a deep breath and be like, okay, so this place isn't as bad as the other.
Yep.
Because it doesn't have any main story stuff. The only stuff in, like, story-wise in that area, in the wild area, is, like, side stuff. So,
okay.
I do like that I like when games add a place like that so that you can just kind of take a deep breath and be like, okay, I don't feel like I'm going to die at every
under
given
constant
second.
threat. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Like, sure, there are still things happening and you can still get mauled by a bear and shit like that.
Yeah, but it's not people coming after you trying to,
not
like,
as
hunt
consistently,
you.
at least.
Yeah, that's...
You're like, okay,
That's fair.
I don't feel like if I turn this corner, the Ronin are gonna come after me and try to kill me.
Yeah. That's just a different area. It's fine.
It's fine. Just go a little further north. They'll be waiting for you. But speaking of, like, constant side stuff, again, what this game did well and Tsushima did well is that having the open world exploration and being able to just ride for a little bit and then something naturally catches your eye, smoke in the distance, like, or like somebody calling out to you. Like, they have so many little side things to do. It is really, really impressive as far as the game goes. And truthfully, if you're one of those people that plays game and only does the main story, I feel really bad for you because you're missing out on a lot of flavor content in this game that adds to the world, to the way that the world feels and lives and breathes.
Exactly. There were just a lot of cool things. Because, again, I would watch you play it. Because I remember this is when you completed the game.
Yes.
You still went back in because there were so many side things. Like, just, again, you platinumed it, which, again, I'm going to bring that up once again because that is an achievement. But you platinumed it, so there's still, and what I like about these type of games, like, although the story is good, there was still more to do and go back even after you're complete with the actual story part.
Yeah. It's one of those games that I like because it doesn't overstay its welcome to.
True.
Like, I'm not sinking hundreds and hundreds of hours in. Don't get me wrong, I could, and I mean, like,
yeah,
I'm sure some people have, but, like, if you want a good chunk of game, but nothing that's going to feel, like, exhausting to have to take on,
this is your game.
Yeah, these games do a really good job of that, in my opinion. I can also appreciate with their side content stuff that it feels like they definitely listen to the players a little, because in Tsushima there were, like, fox dens, for example, that were kind of annoying to go chase, and there was, like, 20 of them, or there was a shit ton of them. I don't remember how many.
Okay.
I think there's only, like, 10 of them in this game. So they still exist, because they are still important to, like, the side story stuff. Like,
of course.
You know, especially with foxes and, like, their traditional ties to, like, Japanese culture and things like that. Yeah. They're still important. But, God, you don't have to chase down so many.
Yeah.
Same with, like, the hot springs and the bamboo strikes. Those things are fun to do, but if you do them so many times, they get repetitive. Versus, you know, you do them, like, 15 times, 18 times. That's not as bad. It's enough to feel and build the world out and feel like there's enough, but not so many that it feels like, oh, I'm just going to chase another.
I gotta do this again.
Yeah, exactly. So I can appreciate that they cut that down. I can also appreciate that they added new stuff like the wolf. I love the wolf. I love the companionship of it. I like the stories of it. I didn't feel like they had too many of them, so it felt like enough, again, to fill the world out.
Yep.
I like that game mechanic as well, especially once you get later and the wolf, she becomes one of, like, pretty close with you. She's a badass companion.
I like that too. I'm like, it's just fun to have another...
It's fun
somebody
to not feel so
helping me out. Exactly. I'm not so lonely. And I like the idea, you may go into more of this too, it's like the wolf concept, like the lone wolf, and then there's also like Atsu also act like a lone wolf in her own kind of right, but wolves also go in packs.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's more symbolism to that, but
there's a lot of wolf symbology.
Okay.
In this game, because like even early on, like her dad, I believe, calls her and Juba because they're twins.
Yes.
Which again, you have to remember that's pretty rare back in this time period because like
yeah,
usually for the mom.
That meant bad news bears. You're gonna die. Thank you for the 2 children. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So they always say like, oh, like our like 2 wolves. Like there was a lot of symbolism with wolves and Atsu and like her brother, and then just in general. So again, really liked how that all pulled together in the end. Again, me being me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I think most games have really great music.
Yes.
I think there are definitely some standouts among them in my personal opinion. Some of which being Assassin's Creed, this game, Tsushima, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, The Last of Us. I would even argue to put Uncharted like kind of up in that range. Not all of the music, but some of it. But of course, I'm gonna nerd out on the music just for one brief seconds. And this music I liked a lot. I liked Toshima's music a lot. Toshima's music was very classic. Like it sounded very classical samurai.
Yes.
Like very traditional Japanese, which is cool. This has traditional Japanese blended with Western, like old Westerns.
And you can hear, because you pointed it out to me. I was like, how does that work? But like when you point that out, I'm like, oh, I see that. Yes. I hear that. Yes.
And we will play a couple of them here in a second. But yeah, I love what they did with this. And don't get me wrong, if it was any, because this game was nominated for its Game Awards in 2020 in the 2025 year. If it was in any other year, I think it could have won a lot more.
Oh yeah. But
when you go up against Clair Obscur Expedition 33,
that's a
you
bit hard.
Almost have no chance.
Yeah, honestly.
And you know, when I was playing Expedition 33, and I think I even said this in those videos as well, that when I started playing Expedition 33, I was like, how did this win Game of the Year? No, and especially because I was like, I played Ghost of Yotei first, and then I played Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And in my head, I was like, how did Clair Obscur Expedition 33 beat out Ghost of Yotei for a lot of the things that they were nominated together in? Well, friends, I figured that out real quick.
You gotta see it through.
Gotta see it through. Yep. And I did. I was going to. But man, yeah, I can understand why. But at the same time, I do feel bad for Sucker Punch because I think they could have won a lot had they just been in any other year with other games.
Yes.
It's okay. When Game Award season comes around, we'll talk about that.
Definitely.
Too. Yep. But yeah, so let's dive into the music for just a quick second. There's not nearly as much to talk about in this than there is in like Expedition 33. Because I just don't think that they have as much, like, symbolism, truthfully. I mean, it just has a really pretty sound.
Because you played these, like, again, like, when you drive or, like, or when we, like, go places or just listen to music, this is mainly what we listen to. Just because, again, like...
Yeah, I'm so sorry for that.
Oh, no, that is not a bad thing at all. I enjoy listening to these. They're just good, like... I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but background music. By background music, I mean, like, there's not too many words. You could still do, like, your little activity or craft or do what you gotta do, and you can still listen to this. So that's why it's really good.
I like these two because, I mean, this is what helps me focus at work.
Yes.
It's good, like, focus music for me. Mm-hmm. So the first song I'm gonna play is the title song. It's called Ghost of Yotei. It plays, pieces of it play multiples throughout the whole game. I think the full song, plays in the credits as well. Just talking about how it sounds like a Western, and I've seen some other people break down these songs as well. I like the flute in the opening. It has that very, like, Japanese...
Yes, like the classic...
But I think what makes it Western is the beat.
Yes.
That. It's that drum beat mixed with whatever instrument, whatever
the classic kind of like Japanese sound instrument. Which, funny enough, I could even kind of argue like that Japanese sound instrument kind of sounds like that Western classic like doo-doo-doo, like
little,
whatever. Yeah.
It's when you get those, like, wispy bits that it's like, you remember, like, this is Japanese.
Exactly. The more delicate, like, softer, prettier bits.
And then you have what I'm assuming is a shamisen. I don't know that for a fact, but whatever string instrument
Yes.
that does, it's coming up. That like it's that plucking sound. Again, very Western like beat, but Japanese sound.
Yep. And like dramatic.
Yes.
In a way, because again,
heavy,
like
heavy.
Exactly, because you're fighting for revenge. Oh, pretty
beautiful. Peak. This to me is very like classic Western for some reason. I think it's that falling notes. Those like
yes.
where it starts top and then kind of falls down and then it jumps back up.
Yep.
That for some reason I associate with like Westerns for some reason.
No, that's I
don't know why.
I can kind of get because that's like the Western sound, like the classic cowboy movies where it just has that sound.
It sounds like horses are literally just charging across a plain. Like
yes.
right there, especially to me.
Especially with the drum beats,
yes.
like you said, and everything. So, yeah.
True Western sound. But let me rephrase. Japanese sound with a Western flair.
Yes.
And
exactly.
I think that's so fitting because she is literally the epitome of an outlaw.
The Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lone Wolf, Lone Ranger. The Ghost of Yotei.
That is probably my favorite song off of the album. What I love about it is that yes, you have like those really strong songs. I'm trying to find it really quick because there's another one that's in my head that I think is beautiful. There's actually two that I guess are in my head that are much more calm songs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first one, and this is Atsu's theme. It just sounds like a wonder.
It's very soft.
It's so sad. Because she's a sad character. We said that.
But thinking of her character, I also wouldn't think that the music would be so soft. Sad, I could understand.
I mean, I think it just shows like how much she's lost.
Yeah.
It's just she's again for a long time in this game. She has nothing else to live for. She's willing to just get her revenge and know that she's gonna die. Probably doing it.
Yes. And she's willing to.
Die for it. Yeah. Because she at the beginning literally says right off the bat, she's like, "I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna be reunited with my family."
Yep.
And she's okay with that. She's made peace that this is probably gonna kill her. And I think this just embodies that really well. Like
yes.
she just does not care to live for anything else. She just wants to do her mission and be done.
Yep.
But then of course that's not how that story ends.
Exactly.
It's this one because I love that.
This scratches your brain.
It scratches that itch in my brain so well. Because that's an electric guitar from what it sounds like to me. And
it's very suspenseful, and I love that. At least in my opinion, it's like building up.
I love it. And then I like once it gets into this actual song. Very Western right there. In my opinion.
Oh, definitely.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way that sounds so much because it is true. Like that to me, for some reason, like I can imagine this being in a Western, like in a shootout,
especially
almost.
That part. Yes, because that sounds exactly like a Western.
It sounds like two guys like are ready to pull their
this town ain't big enough for the both of us. Yeah.
And I love that this is the like Call of Revenge song. This is like when they are about to show down. And I love that. And I just again, those are the subtle like hints of that Western with very Japanese like flair.
Yes.
But I could gush about this soundtrack for a very long time, and I'm not going to. But those are just some highlights of the songs and how well I think. Like I said, had they been in any other year, I think they could have won that award for best soundtrack.
Oh, definitely.
Sorry, I mean even I have to choose. I think Expedition 33 did it.
They had great music. Again, it was also symbolic. We go into that too.
We go into that.
We do.
But yeah, any other year, I think Ghost of Yotei would have had such a better chance.
Yes, I agree.
2 big points left to talk about. The first is just a quick note of being that I'm really glad that they added a nod to Jin Sakai in the Ghost of Tsushima in the Mythic Tale.
Yep.
You go after his katana, basically. You go and find it and you fight. And it kind of gives you, it fills in not all the gaps, but it gives you a little bit more kind of a quick little epilogue of his story. And I can appreciate that because I know there were still questions about, like, oh, what happens to Jin and things like that. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't fill it all in. Obviously, I think a lot of it is meant to be left to the kind of the player's imagination of what happens to him. But I do like that they tip their hat to him because I was really playing and I was kind of like, man, they haven't really said anything about him. Yeah. And that's kind of a bummer because, I mean, but...
And especially for being part of, like, the Ghost series, I guess. Again, we know, like, they don't necessarily all tie in together.
Right.
But, like you said, it's nice to have that nod.
It's nice to have a little tip of the hat.
Exactly.
But, of course, how can we end this without talking about the big old...
Good Lord.
Big old... I'm not going to call it a plot twist, because I don't think it's a plot twist. I think maybe, I mean, if you're paying attention to where the story's leading you, I think you could kind of see it happening. But I'll call it the piece de resistance.
Oh, yes. The cherry on top of your already tragic life.
The depressing cherry.
Yes.
But at the end of the story, Jubei, who, again, you're like, yay, my brother is alive.
After 16 years of thinking he was dead, maybe I have something to live for.
And 20 hours later in the game, and he died.
Yep. And he left you with his daughter.
Yep.
Great. Baggage. I'm kidding.
God, you give me this wonderful gift of having something to live for, and yet you leave me with this baggage.
Exactly.
Now, what I wanted to talk about with that specifically, and I know you and I have had many conversations about this, is why did they kill him off? But more importantly, why specifically it had to be him that died.
Yes.
You could not have had the same emotional impact had you killed off Atsu, had you killed off Oyuki, had you killed off Kiku, which is his daughter.
Yep.
You could not have, you could have killed off any of those other characters, and I literally told you, I'm like, I would have been okay with that.
Yes.
It was Jubei that I was like, you cannot touch him, and guess who's the only one that they killed off?
Who died? Not that you played it, so maybe you have a little bit more of a tie, but, like, with Jubei, the reason I thought, like, it kind of sucked so much, or like it was so sad that he died, is because, like, I feel like to Atsu, Jubei was the hope, because you even talked about it too. Like, Jubei went down this, like, whole different line. Like, he did not have the revenge arc. He grew up in the Matsume with his, like, a loving type of supportive family. Like, he still had that element, so he still has hope for what is to come, like raising his daughter and, like, having a family. And
he was married, he had a kid.
Even after his wife died, he was still like, I still have hope for
because of his daughter.
Yep.
And with Oyuki, like, you're right, he was the embodiment of hope. Atsu had made peace with, like, dying at the end of this mission.
Yes.
Oyuki also had made peace with that she could have been killed, because she knew that going against Saito was probably a very risky and potentially, like, fatal plan.
Yes.
And so she was, again, okay with, like, if she dies, that's part of the plan here. Like, it happens. It's going to happen, or it could happen. I mean, as much as it'd be sad to see Kiku die, at least, again, this is going to sound terrible, and I mean this in the most joking way, because I get that this isn't how this works.
Of course not.
But, like, man, Jubei could have gotten remarried and had another kid.
Yes, and it's different, too, because, like, this is, like, a niece that you never even knew you had. So, like, no offense, because I agree with you, because, like, it'd be terrible.
Would have been terrible for Jubei.
Terrible for Jubei, and just terrible just for, like,
in
your
general.
niece to die. Yeah, like, the kid to die. But since Atsu doesn't have as much as an emotional connection, because, again, this is just a kid you found out about, like, oh, okay, cool, you're here too, but, like, you're more here for your brother, like, oh my god, Jubei,
yes.
I didn't even know you were alive. Like, you having a kid is sweet, but, like, you just being here blows my mind in the first place.
Yeah. And, again, obviously the player's gonna feel what Atsu feels.
Oh,
so again, like, cool, niece that I never knew versus brother who I literally thought was dead.
And we're twins.
Yes.
Make it even bigger cherry on top.
And that is why I think you could not have killed anybody else off and had the same emotional punch.
No.
That
Because
that has.
Even if Atsu died, if anything, again, like you said, we could accept that because she was willing to accept that already. Exactly.
I mean, she had come around to the idea of living because she had Kiku, she had Jubei, she had Oyuki. Like, she had made friends and, you know, met family she thought was dead. But at the end of the day, she'd still made peace with this at the beginning that she could die at the end of this journey.
Yes.
Nobody was thinking, oh, yeah, Jubei's going to be the one that dies because he's got all the hope in the world.
Nope. Just got to kill the light right out of, Atsu's life again, mind you, at their childhood home again.
At the childhood home, yep,
where it all started.
What's wild to think, and this is gonna maybe sound terrible as for me as a person. Again, spoilers for Expedition 33 as well, coming up.
Yep.
I cried at the end of this game when Jubei died. I cried twice because I cried when he died, and then it flashes forward to an epilogue where I'm blanking on her name now, but the
Atsu?
niece. No, not Atsu. Kiku, thank you.
Kiku,
I was like,
there you go.
I was like thinking of something else. I'm like, that's not right. Kiku and Atsu are like walking around, and she's like, yeah, I kind of miss my dad. I don't really want to talk. Like, she's just sad. Like, her grief is still very visible.
Yes.
But you can tell she's trying to get over it, but she's having a rough time, whatever. And so then that just made me cry more. And maybe I was just thinking about like the day my parents died and things like that.
Yeah.
But I was just I was bawling even harder the second time.
You're like,
but
no.
I did not cry during Expedition 33.
I mean, to be fair, again, they're concepts. I'm kidding. Expedition 33 was still very much like a tearjerker, but that's my brother. That's my... Well, I guess it is an Expedition 33.
It is too. Yeah, I was just saying, Expedition 33, it's the same thing, but I don't know.
But you know he's dead.
Yeah, there was a part of me that just, like, maybe in the beginning, I was just like, I think it's more in the way they framed it, that like these expeditioners go out and nobody has ever made it back alive, so your hope for any of these people coming back alive is pretty low. Like, you think like
death is inevitable.
Death is gonna probably come for a lot of them, and it did come for a lot of them at the beginning, so it's like, okay, well, now you got 3 of them left, and so I don't know how many of you are gonna make it out alive. There's always the hope, but like, I was like, when Gustav died, I was shocked, sure, but I wasn't like, I don't know if I was sad. Well, not like this, because you know how much time you spend with Jubei, and you're like, oh, he's dead. Oh, he's alive. Oh, let's go on adventures, and building his trust, and gaining his trust, and having the sibling fights, and all of that shit, only for him to fucking die.
Yes.
And when you can taste victory.
Yes.
You are right there.
You have the hope, you have the family back together. A new family.
And then it all gets ripped away from you.
Yes, it does.
Right at the last minute. At least, like, I was like, man, Gustav still has to live for another 2 acts. Like, I don't know if he's going to make it that long.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Nonetheless, your brother dies.
Brother dies, and...
You're left with a kid. Your niece, but still.
And yet, it wouldn't have been emotionally impactful either way.
No.
With anyone, not either way. It wouldn't have been emotionally impactful if it was anybody else.
I agree. I do agree with that.
It
has to be your brother.
Jubei.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
So this game got me, for sure.
Beautiful game. Great game to watch.
Definitely just unfortunate that it came out with a lot of other really great games in 2025. Because I think this game deserves just as many flowers as the others. It was a close...
A lot of great games.
It was a lot of good year. Yep. It was a really good year for games. Good God. Can't speak. I'm getting choked up.
It's okay, Jubei. It's okay. Jubei's okay. He's in a better place, right?
Yikes.
He's with his wife.
Yeah.
Not with his daughter, though.
Yeah,
Deadbeat dad. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
Dad went to get the milk and then just said he's going to kick the bucket.
He just died.
But anyways, with all that being said, we appreciate y'all listening. We hope y'all enjoyed.
Of course.
Grace, any final thoughts?
Have fun, play your games, and, if you don't play them, watch your girlfriend play them.
Catch y'all on the next one.
Bye.